What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are back to work on our Yamaha Zuma Bugeye build. If you aren't familiar with this build, it was a super cheap build we bought, and this thing was completely clapped out. We ended up completely stripping the frame down to nothing. There's literally not one thing on this frame besides this front end, and basically every single wire is here on the ground because we have yet to go through that. We have just been focusing on the actual engine build itself. So if you didn't follow along with the last video, we scored ourselves a Polini Corsa kit during Black Friday from Scooter Swap Shop, which was a super deal. It was a crank and a Corsa cylinder combo for like 290 bucks when these are normally like $450. So we grabbed one of those for this build to make it a simple stunt build for what we're doing right now, slash test bike, slash just a bike for homies to hop on and just thrash around. With that being said, last time we sealed up the cylinder, the intake, cleaned everything on the bike, took everything apart, obviously, and then rebuilt it to this point right now. We got a bunch of our other goodies in the mail now. We got a carb, clutch bell, and we got the variator set up over there. So we basically have everything we need now to assemble the motor and get the motor dialed and back in the bike, but we have a lot to come for the bike itself. As you can see right now, we have our Leakdown tester plugged into here. Simple, it's a PSI gauge right to the intake. We have our exhaust port blocked off down there. We got our crank seals now in the bike, and we got a spark plug tightened. This is how you air leak down test a motor, because with two strokes it is very, very important that you have no air leaks, because it will lean out your bike and you'll never be able to tune your bike. You're going to have a high idle, overheating problems, you have a bunch of issues. So it's very important when you have a motor at this state that we do a leak down test. So very simple, put 6 psi in this engine, and hopefully it's going to hold 6 psi for about 20 minutes. This pump's kind of like junk, so you kind of got to like, oh, let me try it again. Alright, we're a hair over 6, as you can kind of see on there. We're a hair over 6. So, we'll let that sit for a little bit, probably about 20 minutes or so. Come back. It hasn't even moved a tiny bit, so I'm pretty sure we're probably going to be good, boys. We sealed everything up pretty good. A couple people in the last video commented, like, you don't need Honda Bond on the intake. Obviously, you don't need it. All these bikes I've ever built, I've always learned, it's better to be safe than sorry, especially with these two-stroke engines. So it does no harm and it saves you. There's no reason why not to run Honda Bond right there. So I've always done it. I do it on every motor I build. I always run a thin layer of Honda Bond on the intakes just to be safe. That's just me. But like I said, boys, we're looking good in here. So let's give it some time and we'll come back. It's still right above 6 and it's been about 30 minutes now. So I'm going to say we're good to go, boys. We're going to take this back out now. We got the frame pulled in here. Let's slap this motor back in the frame so we at least have this bike as a roller. We are nowhere near finished with this bike. We're going to end up painting the frame and doing all that, but most importantly, we need to get our wiring figured out. We're also going to be adding stunt pegs on here and bracing, etc., etc., so there's no reason to paint the frame right now if we're going to add all that bracing. But in order to add the bracing and build the 12 bar and all those things, I need to have the motor in to see where that back wheel sits, and we can find a good spot to do it. So we need to slap the motor in to get to the next stage, and then we'll pull it all back out, paint everything, and get it nice and pretty. But for now, let's get this thing back to being a roller. We got our motor put in the bike now. Bike is sitting here rolling. We're going to weld on the kickstand and all those sorts tomorrow, because we got to pull out the welder. But for now, I want to get the CVT kind of thrown together. Boom. That all out of there. This spring is shot, boys. And we got some rust down in there. Oh, this feels really nice, though. Boom. She actually looks pretty damn good in there. But we'll clean it up anyways, boys. We're going to clean it all up. Take our variator set. We're going to be running this stage 6 clutch spring. We usually go Malosi, but we're going to run this medium one. See what it's about. Might be a little too soft, I'm not going to lie. We also got ourselves a Polini adjustable clutch here, so it's only got the one set of springs in it. These are all things that we might have to adjust later on, but for right now, we're just trying to get this thing running. Our rear pulley assembly is ready. We got our new clutch bell right here as well for that setup. And then, like I said, we have the rest of our variator setup right here as well. So, our boss here. shims. Our spacer that goes in here. We deleted our electric start, but there's still a spacer right here. Super important that you need this big bushing spacer. That sits back there. And then we deleted our starter gear, which is about 2 millimeters thick. So I always run some shims right there behind that to make sure your belt's actually where it's supposed to be at the right angle. That boss looks a little short, not gonna lie, a little short. But we won't know yet, so. Got ourselves a Polini belt here. Throw that bad boy on with it. This Contra feels a little soft. I think we usually go with the Stage 6 hard, which is black. I thought it was black for the Stage 6 hard. This one said medium for black, but mostly because I'm tired of moving this thing around, touching this super sticky area of the handlebars. Even after running a wire wheel to it, this grip that like melted onto these handlebars has become the stickiest thing in the world. So it's gonna be perfect to stick our new grips to though. So we got a quick throttle and some grips. We're gonna throw this on there, finish this up, and then we should be able to actually hook up a throttle cable, gas tank, and actually fire this thing out. But toss these on real quick. That's how we're looking. Boom. Alright boys, well we added the grips, we added the quick throttle on there. I went through our new gas tank on there, mounted that up. Right now I'm working on the wiring. If you remember in the last video I was talking about how bad the wiring was in the scooter. There were so many burnt wires, there were so many things that were miswired and just disconnected and cut off and rewired, and there was speaker wire. It was a mess, boys. Resorted in going through and stripping out the wire harness. There's still a few obviously that are bad, but that one's to the battery. There's a few that are needed that are bad that we need to repair. A big old section of burnt wire right here for the grounds. I went through and I deleted everything that we don't need necessary for this style of scooter we're building. This is not going to be like a street scooter, if you will. It's going to be basically a stunt scooter for the lot, a drag scooter for if we build a fast build, and a test chassis for motors we do build in the future. So it doesn't need blinkers. It's going to run headlights and taillights just because, but it's not going to need that. It's not going to need anything for the cluster because we're not going to run the headset at all. It's not going to need a fuel gauge. We're not going to be riding it like that. It's literally stripped down to bare bones here, just like how we used to do on our old GY6 builds. Mostly because this one, the wire harness was fried. It's not out of preference to strip the wire harness. One thing I did completely space was we ended up deleting this side of the throttle because we ran a quick throttle, and that side has the kill switch. I also deleted the key ignition because we're missing the key for that, which also is the other kill switch. So right now the bike has no kill switch, so we cannot fire this bike up. I mean, we could, but we're going to have to unplug the spark plug cap. It's kind of just not worth it right now to fire it up because we're still working on the harness and everything like that. So I think we're kind of at a standstill at this section right now. I'm going to order a key ignition. That way there's nothing on the handlebars. I don't want anything up here. As you can tell, this one's literally stripped. It's just because the rear brake's mounted to this is the only reason we're keeping this for now. But we're going to have no wires to the handlebars. It's literally going to be a throttle cable and a brake line. That's it. There's not even a front brake on this scooter because the front brake was thrashed as well. So this is a very funny build. It's nothing like we normally do. So I'm going to order a key ignition before I mess with any more of that wiring now, knowing that we need that to be able to have a kill switch on this bike easily. I could wire in a kill switch, but I'd prefer just have a key ignition as well. It's so much easier. So we're going to do that, and then we'll finalize the wiring in here. But the motor's good. The motor leak down tested. The motor is ready to go. Basically, we have a pipe all ready to throw on. We got all our CVTs set inside there. We just need to throw the stator on and get all that buttoned up on this side, and then we can actually get this thing fired up. I think that's going to be just a quick little standstill on this bike for now until we get those parts in. I wanted to put the rest of this video was the last of the Goonies ride, the Goon Ride night, in the end of this video. If you're curious on the setup we're building, that exact setup with the Polini Corsa is in the bike that I'm running in the rest of this video. So that's going to be the rest of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned next week when we actually get this bike fired up. But we got to order some more parts.
Vegas ride out. Finally the weather cooled down. That's how we do it. Skylar on the junkyard scooter. Not tuned too great, not gonna lie. It's not tuned too great. But it never has been. Chopper's out already. Rappa's out on us already. Skyler got the junkyard Zuma figured out. It looks like he was having a little trouble earlier getting locked in on it. It's like you're further back, you look comfier now. Maybe you just weren't dropping it back all the way. It is still soggy, but...
This throttle is what I hate now.
Yeah. Paul on the Grom. Where's the Zuma, Paul? You work at Scooter Swap Shop, bro. Woo! Oh, is he keeping it? Oh. Cole, the Glabo over there. Oh man, gotta love two-stroke sound. Oh, my bad, bro. Last year, this was a little sketchy down here. Dude, you just see all the nasty dirt in the air right now. It's one of the grossest place. Sound like the choke on almost. There it goes. Now it cleared out. Well, something happened back here. Skylar's bike broke or something. It blew up? No way. Huh?
Pretty sure I found the plug.
Oh, I thought it blew up. Well, Skylar didn't even foul the plug. I didn't think so. I said he might be out of gas, but the tank on that one is a little weird with the petcock, and you have to have it on reserve pretty much halfway through the tank because the pickup point for the regular on petcock is so high up that it pokes out at like half tank. So threw it on reserve and now it's good to go. This is not how they got out of here. That goes onto the freeway.
So that's going to do it for this one, boys. Make sure you check the description down below for Scooter Swap Shop if you need to grab yourself some scooter parts, and I will see you guys in the next video.